So I thought I'd bring you guys an interesting problem, and I have not come across this before. But basically, I had a customer buy a computer off me 2 years ago. It was a 56 or Ryzen 5 5600X and a 3060 Ti build, and it's been solid up until recently. But then he sent me this video that has a really weird issue where it would just flash on repeatedly, and I kept hearing like a clicking noise from the motherboard, and thought, wow, that's really weird. So I had him pull like the RAM, pull the GPU out, and just this kind of isolate the issue, and it just still did the same thing. So I was thinking maybe a short somewheres or the power supply. So I had him order a kind of a budget power supply just to try it, and he threw it in. It did exactly the same thing. So I was like, well, either you have a second bad power supply, or there's something wrong with the motherboard or CPU. So I felt really bad for him, but he's like, that's all right, I'm looking to upgrade anyway. So long story short, he ended up getting a RTX 5070 and a 9600X build off me, and in the meantime ended up trading this in. Obviously it's working now, but it wasn't when I got it. I'll go ahead and explain that in this coming video. So as you can see here, it's just a standard Ryzen 5 5600X. There's no bent pins or missing pins or thermal paste anywhere. It's relatively clean. So we're going to go ahead and install this back into the original motherboard that it came in, and I'll just show you the problem that we have with it. So I'll just hold the cooler up against. There's still a little bit of paste on the back, and I'll just press the power button here, and yeah, it just flashes just like it does in the original video. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, it's a CPU problem or a motherboard problem. One of the two. It has to be one of the two, right? So I just clean the paste off here quick, and then we'll just toss it in the other motherboard here. And I set up a B550. It's coming from a B450. So I just set the Prism cooler on a graphite pad, and the weight of itself isn't really enough to keep the CPU cool, but it's enough just for this test here. So we'll go ahead and we'll trip the power on button pins on the motherboard, and we'll get it booted up, and we'll see that it does actually boot up. So we'll go ahead and we'll switch the CPU. We'll do another Ryzen 5 5600X, and then we'll go ahead and we'll toss that into the original B450 Strix motherboard. So we'll just go ahead and tighten the cooler here. There's already a little paste on the back still. So at this point I'm just checking the cooler, make sure everything's plugged in, reseat the RAM, and we'll go ahead and turn it on. And at this point I'm not really expecting it. Like, I am expecting it to boot because the lights are all working, the RGB's working. It's not just flickering anymore. And yeah, it just boots right up. So I can't really explain it. It's a 5600X, just like the one I took out, and put this one in, and it works. Yet I could take that dead CPU I thought was dead and put it in the other motherboard, and that works too. And so I tried the original CPU and put it back in the B450, and it did exactly the same thing. It just started flashing again. So it's really weird because the motherboard will just click. Like, there's an audible click from the DRM section of the motherboard, it seems. So yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting problem, and I wanted to record it because if I didn't, you wouldn't believe it until you see it, kind of thing. So who knew, swapping a Ryzen 5600X for another Ryzen 5600X works just fine. And so yeah, it just didn't seem like it was the motherboard. And then I swapped that CPU in, thinking it's a dead CPU, into another motherboard, and it boots right up. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, have you seen this before where one motherboard doesn't like a CPU? It seems like a really odd thing to me. I updated the BIOS and just trying everything to get it to work, and it just, nothing. Still flashes. I could swap it in right now and it would flash just the same as it was before. So got me. I don't know what's going on with that, but well, I hope you guys enjoyed this content, found it interesting like I do. Obviously I'd like to churn out more videos like I started when I started the channel, but I just don't have the time for that. Like you guys, everyone has a full-time job and a family and things to take care of. So but I'll earn your like, and I'll earn your sub, and I'll just keep churning out content as I have time for it. If you made it this far in the video, I just wanted to share a deal with you guys as like a little thank you for watching this far. So hop on a Newegg, do a sold by Newegg, so you only find deals from them, and then click Intel for the filter. And then if you sort by lowest price, you'll see that I'll just scroll until I see the free Intel Spring Bundle with Purchase option on the cheapest Intel, and that just happens to be a 14th gen i5, so it's a 10-core chip. But I thought that was a pretty good deal because it comes with, 2 games. At least I think it's 2 games. Dying Light, The Beast, and then Civilization 7. Then for a motherboard to pair with it, I noticed that Newegg has a deal on an LGA 1700 once you apply that filter, and then sort by lowest price again. I saw that they had like a DDR4. I know it's DDR4, but comes with RAM, like 32 gigs. So I thought that was pretty good for the motherboard and RAM. And I believe it's a Wi-Fi board too. Yeah, it is. 14th gen stuff should really be cleared up by now. So for $260 for the main components, you get a couple of free games on a modern platform, which seems like a pretty solid deal to me. Well, alright guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out my website, rotorgg.com.